Put my shit back on this fucking porch. Yeah. I saw you when you got out the motherfucking car. You're trying to put my shit back on this motherfucking porch. Sure. You done lost your motherfucking mind. You gonna come up on my shit and take my shit? You got it. You lucky. You got it. You lucky. You got it. Motherfucker. You see this motherfucker?
I hate when guys text you, did you take the plan B? No. I forgot.
Hold on, guys. I don't think the music's working. Let me check, guys. Hold on a second. Hold on, guys. Let me see. I don't think the music's working. Let me check, guys. Hold on a second. Check, guys. Hold on a second. Oh, it's working. Sorry about that, guys. Let's continue playing. Yes. Sorry. Okay, everybody, what's good? Welcome to another edition here on the Chaos Rain channel. As you know, I am Chaos Rain here, and today this is gonna be a series, a series stream. Very much a series, I like to call it. As you know, I have done enough streams on women in good faith, rather than people watch it or not. That's their business. Today we're gonna change direction, and now we're gonna look at the men's and focus just a little bit about the men in good faith. But before I begin, please, if you're new to the channel, welcome to all that's new to the Chaos Rain channel, and those that will be subscribed in the future. And for those going to be subscribed to the future or subscribed to the channel, you know the drill. Hit that red button, hit that top notification bell. It's always recommended hit the top bell. As you know, when you hit all the other forms of bells, you don't get nothing. That's not where the party's at. But party is where it's at, and that's the top notification bell. You know how this thing goes. Also, please follow me on Twitter at ChaosRain7. And you can now add me as a friend on Facebook. Eric Rain on Facebook. These are the links. Oh, and I also have an about section where you can join my Discord service. So, as I'm checking some of the uploads here, I'm checking something right now, and I'm probably going to shut this off because this is getting annoying now. Close some windows up here. All right. Now I'm looking at the lineup now. As y'all know, it is going to get very hot in the coming weeks with a lot of things. Not only I'm gonna present to this channel, but other things that's going on throughout social media, YouTube, or any other outlets that y'all consume. Be on the lookout for that. As you know, I'm looking at my social medias per se, and there's a lot of things out here. Oh, let me stop this. Yeah, that's better. And let me close this. And I'm trying to see if everybody else got notifications. Let's see. Yeah, she got it. Get Charles Wall. Good. Okay. And Did I miss anything? I don't think I missed anything. So I'm looking one last time. No, that's pretty much it. So today's subject is titled Delusions of Men, Volume 1. This is one of a composed of many series, just like I did with the women, which you can find on the Chaos Rain channel. Now we could look into the men and their delusions. As a man, let's be honest, we are also delusional as well in our actions and rhetoric. Besides talking about female nature, which most of us don't understand, unfortunately, and some that maybe do and still can't figure out. But besides talking about women, that will not be the focus of the men. Really, it's more dealing with what I'm hearing from a lot of men. And to me, I had to think really hard and good that there are different groups of foundation to FDA to foreign blacks that's in the internet, including those that's on social media, that if you really ask where they really come from, they'll tell you. And it goes beyond if they speak the king's language or they speak regular American language. Nonetheless, you could tell by not only what they say out their mouth, maybe accent, but also what they do in front of you and behind you will give clear indication if these are blacks, foreign blacks, or, some other form of blacks that's not really born in America or first generation American. As you know, the purpose is to look at some information here to really hopefully bring some conversation and debunk some myths that's being going around about, these foreign blacks, men or women doing better than foundation Americans, blacks. But let's see what I could do. And 1 second, guys. Let me take this because somebody's ringing me. Okay, so let us do this. Let us begin. Let's start with the few articles I have up here on screen. Let me pull up a few of them. Oh, make sure to share the screen. Like this stream. I'm going sometimes periodically take a double look besides who's watching to see what the likes at. As you come in the building, if you are not going to be participating and give 5 or more minutes through the stream, the next best thing while you're watching shortly is to hit the like button, because it'll be good for other people to know that it's alive and active, depending on how deep the conversation will go tonight. So as I'm pulling up the few articles here and there, and if I did had it, let's look. No, I do not got it. I did not get it. So I now need to go find it. Shit. This is really bad. All right. 1 second, guys. All right, I found it. Let's begin the screen share. And we're going to follow through. And if you have any questions or comments, do leave in the chat room or end of this stream. We're going to start with the Nigerians, refugees section. Start from the top. Now, as you all know, and there's a PDF, but we're not going to download the PDF because the PDF is too long. As y'all know, y'all hear about the excellence of Nigerian people. We always say that they're intelligent, they're good at certain things, they have work ethics, etc. That's good. But as you know, like most African nations, or third world countries, or what you want to call it, some of these countries are the known notorious for scamming, committing, acts of genocide. And also, now we find that some parts of Africa are harvesting now organs, which is something new. I don't know what to tell y'all why this is. We know that there might be a bigger enemy behind closed doors that's either controlling the economy or controlling what the Africans view reality in regards to their natural thinking or how they are trained to perceive reality. Nonetheless, it's on their own doing that they're causing more harm to themselves in their own homeland that is very rich and vast with resource. I think one thing known for Nigeria is their oil reserve. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But we got to really look at this at hand. And as we shall look at, this is one and probably another article on it. But we'll focus on some other countries. But nonetheless, let's look into this. All right. Let me share this. And let me see if this is big enough. No, this is probably big enough. Yeah, I can see this. I don't need nothing bigger than that. Where am I? Country profile. Migrants of refugees in Nigeria. Executive summary. Migration has always been a significant part of Nigerian history. All the major ethnic groups in Nigeria believe that their current settlement results from their ancestor prior migration. And one other thing, I did hear from another content creator, they had to go through and come to this country through by lottery system. But not every person that is a foreign black gets in this country through what we call a lottery system. The lottery system, as you know it, for those that do apply and get here, are most likely the ones that don't got much resource and will get resource if they come successfully in this country with aid. Now, as y'all know, Cerulean has been talking about the Foreign Aid Act of the last 61 years in 1961. Ironically, 61 years. Ain't that something? 61, it was established in 1961. Doesn't that add up? Don't y'all think? That the United States throw in billions of dollars to other third world nations in regards to, I guess, either do two things: exploit the country with the resource, or cause more turmoil and havoc outside these countries, so United States could get more of a grip within these third world nations. Okay. In the beginning of the 20th century, after the arrival of Europeans in Africa, thousands of Nigerians started moving abroad to the Ivory Coast, Mali, Ghana, Sudan, Togo, in search of job opportunity. After World War II, many Nigerians left the country to complete their education abroad, mainly in the UK and USA, to later return home as highly qualified professionals. Which y'all know there's a lot of doctors, particularly Nigerians, in certain parts of the East Coast. Oh, this article, I will put the links to the article at the end of the stream for Miss person named Tell Me in the chat room. So either you or her can read this at the end of the stream for your own consumption. As you know, I always put links to the end of the stream in the description of the streams. So I don't just run my mouth and like most, or I could say, I'll be honest with y'all, majority of all people that do podcasting and content, they don't put their links. They just run their damn mouth. Okay. These persons would play an important part in the period leading up to independence and in the post-independent period after independence. The ethno-religious violence between groups of the Islamic North and the Christian South generate several forms of involuntary migration in Nigeria. However, because of the country's relatively stable 1970s saw a large influx of both inaugurals and international migrants from ECOWAS countries, which I'm not sure what that stands for. With the political tension and economic recession starting in the early 80s, 1980 to be exact. This influx lessons and immigration became more permanent. Moreover, owing to the consequence of the structural adjustment programs, many professionals decide to leave Nigeria as their wage and work conditions were declining. And they also not really talked about that there was a lot of people, especially Nigerians, as you know, unfortunately, the ones that's educated are doing the most of the serious little crimes, either small or big time crimes in regards to scamming or other, things that deal with death. I wish I had African here to really tell the real truth what goes on in Nigeria, just for clarity, personally. I mean, and here's the funny thing. And we don't want to waste time picking on Africa. Africa is no exception to this rule. Also, if you know, in the Caribbeans, they have similar problems as well. And we also get some parts of South America as well, because there's black people in South America. So there's always a correlation why there's so much violence to countries that have such amounts of abundance. Unlike America, all we have is the fiat currency and some other things personally. But we don't have abundance of resource like outside America, these third world countries. But let's keep going. Since the beginning of the 21st century, immigration of education Nigerians to other African countries has increased. Mainly Nigeria migrants integrate successfully in their host societies and often keep in touch with their families in Nigeria, creating transitional networks. However, Nigeria immigration has the reputation of being highly criminalized due to the arrest of Nigerians using fake documents, congregating in unauthorized settlements, and engaging in criminal activities abroad. And what are these criminal activities are these people committing? Does anybody know? Does anybody really know? Y'all could take a guess. Well, let's keep going. Although Nigeria is an important destination for immigrants or for migrants in the region, there are typically more people immigrating to Nigeria. There is a widespread desire to migrate among Nigerians, and a study conducted by the IOM, 81% of respondents indicate their desire to leave their communities for economic reasons and move to non-African countries or urban settings within Nigeria. Between 1990 and 2013, which is an span of actually 23 years, the number of Nigerians living abroad more than doubled past the 1 million mark. Most Nigerians abroad live in Sudan. 24% of them. The United States, 14%. It's not ironic that the people that are black or quote unquote black is almost roughly the same percentage as foundation blacks and other blacks is roughly not greater than 15%. Have y'all noticed that? Has anybody noticed this? And matter of fact, I'll do y'all one favor or some bigger. Why is it when they say that when the black people from different countries come to this country, it still adds on to the population of black people as a whole as only roughly 12 to 13%? This is why you have to be careful of the real data that's being posed on us. What is composing that black people, especially black people that's been here for a while, for centuries, to ones that come here and first Americans? Why is population still at 13 to roughly 14%? It has not exceeded anything beyond 15% ever. Could it be that they're conflating the numbers? Are they doing a lot of killing of black people in America? Besides, black people have killed themselves, well, not at a rate enough to really decline the population. There has to be more aspects and more things have to be laid aside to causing the deaths of black people in America. And there is a compass of a lot of scenarios. And it goes beyond abortion, which abortion, what they say is 19 to 20 million, which I would say is pennies. And I even hear now it's not even close to 20 million. But still, once you lose people in the millions and you have a small population, you have to always put in other factors. Why are you still at this percentage? Are you really at 14, 13, or 12%? Or are they just telling you what you want to hear? Because you're not doing the numbers. You're not doing the actual data. Because when black people fill out census, most of them not filling out no damn census. Yeah, I mean that too. Tell me they might be seeking separation. But anyway, let's keep going because I'm gonna get off track. I'm gonna read all your comments. I see our comments. In the United Kingdom, 9%. Many Nigerians immigrants also migrate to the northern or northbound countries of Cameroon and Ghana. Wait. Matter of fact, let me do this instead. 1 second, people. I forgot to do this. And make sure you guys like the video. Like the video. Let me check something. All right, guys. Sorry about that. I had to find something quickly. I'm gonna do this. Okay, let's keep going. Where was I? Oh, yes. Immigration in Nigeria was varied, and in recent years, the total number of international immigrants in Nigeria has grown extensively. International migrating come from other African countries, mostly Benin, Ghana, and Mali. The majority of immigrants in Nigeria are from northern ECOWAS countries. 74% refugees constitute a small portion of the overall immigrant stock, with the majority of asylum seekers coming from the Great Lakes regions. Nigeria is a destination country for highly skilled migration, with immigrants featuring prominently in the fields such as general and corporate management, mathematics, engineer, and physical science. Immigration has made an important contribution to the recent rapid growth of the Nigerian economy. The immigration rate shows that the Nigerian economy is attractive to regional and international labor migrants. Over time, Nigerians have become an important country of destination within West Africa, as well as countries of transit. Nigeria is not only known for the large number of irregular migrants reaching European shores via Libya, but it also was highly incidents of human trafficking or incidents of human trafficking, which I said earlier. Well, if I say now, they do engage in human trafficking as well. Additionally, the countries has been deeply affected by the international displacement of millions owed to the Boko Haram insurgents in the north. Okay, I see you. Let me see what's going on. Now, y'all know Nigeria, like most countries, if in my opinion, is of a different religion. I would say it's more than half. There's more Christians in Nigeria than there are of the Islamic faith. Now, if I'm wrong, you can always correct me if you catch this video and leave a comment in the comment section with some articles or whatever. Please correct me if you can. The Nigerians is one of the few countries in the west of Africa to have developed a national policy on migration. This policy is very comprehensive, covering migration and developing migration and social issues, national security, irregular movements, forced displacements, the human rights of migrants, organized labor migration, internal migration, the national population migration, data and statistics, and funding for migration management. However, migration barely features in Nigeria's main government development plan. There is currently no known correlation officially data on Nigeria immigrants from a Nigerian ministry or agencies. There is ultimately a lack of unified documentation and data collecting at local, regionals, and international levels. Now, if y'all follow that, there's always a pause. You see, one thing with Nigeria, because they're good in certain areas, the question always has to be put on the table at hand. If you have scientists, engineers, political science, why are you escaping your country? You should get a full grasp of your country because you are being so-called educated in the few areas that helps to bring, last time I checked, some form of resource or control resource or stability in your country. Last time I checked. I could be wrong. But moving on. Let it be. Countries profile. The basic information. Neighboring Nigeria, Chad, Cameroon, Benin, Nigeria is located along the Gulf of Guinea in Western Africa. Nigeria has a total population of roughly 200,964,000. The population can be divided into the following ethnic groups: Hausa, 27.4%, Igbo, 14.1%, Yoruba, 13.9%, Fulani, 6.3%, TV, 2.2%. I think that's called Labibo, 2.2%. Achawa, Azun, 2%. Kari, Berbin, 1.7%. Agala, 1%. And other is 28.9%. Estimate of 250 ethnic groups living in Nigeria. That also includes the mixture of Nigerians from the admixture of the Europeans, especially the Gal people and certain European people back in the 1600s. A good book that talks about the interbreeding of Europeans and blacks. Read the book, Daughters of the Trade, which is there's a book series now on the other channel called Zero Ends channel that displays books and politics. I will recommend those that's watching subscribe to that channel if y'all want. So as I'm looking at here, it's divided by a lot of groups. So if I'm doing a count, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there's roughly either 11 different groups within Nigeria. Now, the question we ask, do they speak the same language or is a mixture of language? Because as we know, when Europeans came to Africa, most of their language has been tampered with. You'll find more and more descendants of the continent that live in Africa are starting to move away from their traditional tongue and using either language such or some other European nations that colonize it. Let's continue. The current climate environmental issues the country faces include air and water pollutions owing to the fuel industry, deforestation, erosion, and desertification, which is a tongue tie. One second. Ooh, this. All right. Let's go down. Additionally, Nigeria faces a number of transitional and social issues since 2009. Like I said, 13 years ago, Boko Haram fighters have killed tens of thousands of Nigerians and disrupt trade and farming in the northeast, causing a risk of famine and displacement of millions of people. Nigeria is a transition point for heroin and cocaine, and tends for the European, East Asians, and North American markets, and safe haven for Nigerians. International, what they call narcotic traffickers, and a consumer base for what they call, I think that's some, I don't know if that's a pill, antiseptics, oh, amphetamines, sorry. Nigeria is also a major money laundering center. A money laundering in Nigeria too? God damn, no wonder they scheming. They scheming the hell out of people, man. Woo! I know this. I'm not sure if there's any Nigerians gonna be watching this video. You know, I like y'all, respect y'all, but you know, we had to go through the information at hand. If y'all want to do a rebuttal video of this, you know, and cuss me out, it's fine in your best interest if you feel it's necessary. Anyway, let's continue. Where was I? Through this, the country has made some progress in this matter, resulting in the removal from the Financial Action Task Force (FATS) or FATFS non-cooperative countries and territories lists or terrorist lists in June of 2006. Now, 16 years ago. Nigeria anti-money laundering regime continues to be monitored by the FATF. Number 2, international and internal migrants. While international migration impacts many educated and unskilled Nigerians, data about such complex phenomena is limited and outdated. So it is difficult to understand the real impact that internal movements have on the social and economic dimensions of the country, according to the 2006 Housing and Population Census. More than 10% of Nigerians were living in state other than where they were born. The International Migration Survey of 2010 shows that 23% of Nigerians were migrating who had changed residence in the last 10 years. It is also reported that 46% of internal migrations were between 20 and 34 years of age, underlying the movements of young people across the country, and those questioned, 51% were females and 49% were males. Interesting. As I'm looking here, I'm gonna keep going down, guys. And let's check in some. You know what's funny? History is a very complex thing to know where we stand, where we're heading. Personally, What's this? Oh God, this thing's popping up again, guys. Hold on, guys. I gotta correct this. I don't know why it's doing this. Yeah, let me fix that, guys, because it's not supposed to be on that. All right. Where was I? All right. Internal migration started after independence and increased between 1976 and 1996, roughly 20 years. When Nigeria started to move from one state to another, especially from rural to urban areas, and you must understand, urban areas no safe, no better from the rural areas. We all know when you're in a rural area, you have more space, you have more room, you could do things. But when you're in an urban environment, you're more congested, you're more boxed in. Like most of us as Black people that live in urban areas like cities or special areas where we're all congested, you're going to have problems when humans are in close proximity in range and boxed in and closed in like sardine cans. Internal migrants come from regions in Nigeria that are significantly less developed, being the most important economic century of the country. Lagos attracts many national migrants in search of employment. When the capital was moved to Abacha, I think that's how you pronounce it, the latter became a major destination area for people employed in the industrial, construction, and business sector. I think it's called Abuja. Rural to urban migration is driven by a lack of agricultural productivity, low income, scarcity of land, and poor social economic structures in rural areas. The relevance of rural to urban migration was highly in the 2006 census, which reports that 60% of internal migrants live in cities, according to Adami Oyemi, I think that's the pronounce it, IOM 2013. The main drivers for the kind of internal migration are opportunities, major centers, urban centers offer in the economic and educational sectors. Yes, it is true. Most internal migrants come from the southeastern region. Recently, however, there has been an increase in migrants from the north as a result of the terrorist activity in Boko Haram, sorry, and the introduction of Sharia law. We are going to Allah. And you know what's funny? I remember Cerulean did say something about Sharia law. That the FBI was watching certain Arabs or whoever type of people that Muslims that wants to practice this in America. I remember that. And personally, in this country, if y'all will go back through my catalog of podcasts here on the Chaos Range channel, I have covered Sharia law. And one thing is evident that has not been really discussed, that it is slowly, and I mean slowly, growing outside its normal boundaries where it's mostly heavily found in the upper eastern parts of Africa. It is slowly migrating itself through certain parts of Europe and potentially is slowly growing here in America as well. That's why, certain task force, FBI or any other investigators are keeping an eye out on this people that follow Islam to the point they want to enact their own form of Sharia law. In 7 out of 36 states, over 40% of the population is comprised of internal migrants. Aban or Abi is home to 48.7% internal migrants. Akizi, 48.9%. 45.1%, Delta 45.3%, IMO 45.1%, and Nabra or Anabra 44.4%, Belize 43.2%, and Lagos 40%. Nigeria, moving from one state to another, often face discrimination as they are threatened like foreigners by the locals, often being excluded from political participation, which creates the potential for social conflict. Economic growth in Nigeria since 2000 has transformed the country into an important destination for many migrants from other West African countries. Currently, Nigeria hosts over 1 million migrants, mostly from neighboring countries. Ghanaians comprise the biggest community of internal migrants in 2010. The immigration stock constitutes 0.7% of the estimate population of Nigeria, down from 0.8% in 2000. Immigrants from West Africa countries constitute 7.8% of all immigrants in Nigeria in 2000. That's 22 years ago. As I'm looking, I see likes are over 50. I think I'm over 100 some percent. So please, as y'all come in, people, please like the video. If you can, keep liking the video. Share this. I'll probably go for one more article. And as I'm finished with this article, I will drop the link for those that want to have their discussions and let's have this conversation. If you're a foreign black, please have this conversation. If you have agreements or disagreements. And if you're a regular Black American, Foundation American, I mean, as you know, you might have some views about people that are black that come to this country and have lack of respect of black people in America. You should voice your opinion because this is very important. In my opinion, I think black people in America have the potential to do great things, and they are doing great things, whether we are aware of it or not. And it should not be disemboweled or sweep on the rug because people that are black, that's not descendants of slaves in America, should be getting the credit for those that help pave way for black people that paved the way for a lot of black people outside America. Let's continue. Where am I? According to the UNDESA, women comprise 45.1% of the international migrant in Nigeria, estimated at 567,100 individuals. Women represent an increasing section of the immigration population as men keep losing their jobs. Let's read that again. According to the UDESA, women comprise 45.1% of international migrants in Nigeria, estimated at 567,100 individuals. Women represent an increased section of the immigration population. As men keep losing their jobs, women are turning to migration to find ways to sustain themselves and their families. Isn't that the same issue we have here in America where men could barely get adequate employment? What's good, Kai? I wonder. Let's keep going. Including seeking higher levels of education. In Western Africa, women also tend to dominate the informal commercial sectors, which is less affected by the economic crisis. According to UNICEF, 48% of the total international migrant stock in Nigeria is under the age of 18. While children are protected under the Child Rights Act, there is a high unemployment rate in Nigeria. Especially among younger populations, the inability of the labor market to provide employment leaves the youth no option but to leave Nigeria. As a result, children become vulnerable to human trafficking. Let me see how long this is. Oh, wow. All right. Well, I'm going to go quickly on this. And let me see what article I'm also going to pull up. Where am I? All right, let's keep going. I think I'll just share. I'll just put the link to the other articles. The two I'll show you on screen and let y'all look for it yourself. Read because the other ones are very. Some are not even present. They're like just like a page, and they're not. It's very short. So we'll probably focus on this article, and then I'll probably bring y'all up if y'all want to have some commentary. Number 3, immigration and skilled migration. Dissatisfaction with the social economic conditions of the country, along with high employment or unemployment rates, has increased immigration from Nigeria. An Afrobarometer poll from 2018 found that 1 of 3 Nigerians wanted to move outside the country. This especially so amongst younger, more educated males who typically leave in search of employment opportunity within the outside of the continents, traveling to the Middle East, Europe, America, and Asia. At the present time, Nigeria has no formal governmental structure to aid national migration to other countries. Most Nigerians who immigrate are left to make their own decisions to escape from the economic hardship of their country. The UNDES estimated the number of Nigerian international migrants or immigrants, to be at roughly looks like 1,256,000 in 2015, and it increased to roughly another, actually still roughly 1,438,000 in 2019. So what is the difference between these two for the last 4 years? 250 to 438. I think that's an increase. If let me do the calculation. My calculator. Let's do the numbers, people. All right. Let's take 1, 4, 3, 8. Y'all not gonna see the calculator, but I'm just putting numbers so I see how much of an increase in 4 years. And we're gonna subtract that by 1,002, 5, and the 6, 114. That's an extra 182,000 people in 4 years. So you grew. So let's say what's the average they grow every year? They get like an extra, maybe if I'm wrong, 40 million a year. Let me divide that by 4 years. Yeah, I'm right. You get an additional 45 million a year. Okay, nice. I like doing numbers because you gotta see the numbers, people, to get a clear understanding in the context of this shit. All right, according to the IOMF or IOM, immigration more than doubled between 1990 and 2013, from 465,932 to roughly 1,030,000. Most Nigerian immigrants residents in the U.S. are 309,699, and the UK is roughly 203,980. Cameroon 148,076, and Nigeria 130,982. In 2017, the Nigerian government passed the immigration regulation that would attempt to decrease illegal migration and thus also immigration to stop so many Nigerians from dying in the deserts or at the sea on their way to other countries. Despite the increased risk and the failure of migration and journeying to Europe by seas and deserts, the number of new vanguards keep increasing, or voyagers, sorry. A recent report by the United Nations revealed that 90% of Nigerians' migration in Europe would choose to make the what they call perilous journey despite the risks if they were asked to make the choice again. This highlights the economic challenges in Nigeria that would make such a dangerous choice seem favorable, and the favorable it should be. Why not be favorable? Do you want to die in a third world country where resource is controlled and possibly scarce, where you have to look for jobs instead of create your own? I think traveling makes more sense. Don't you? Don't you agree? Hmm? 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 Let's go. Let's go on. Comprehensive data on the employment of Nigeria immigrations is not available, though immigration of skilled Nigerians is high in Nigerians with a what they call territory education represents 51% of the migrating populations. The most highly educated often works in the medical sector. Of the 72,000 doctors registered with the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria, MDCN. More than half practice outside the country, comprised with the World Health Organization recommendations of one doctor per every 600 person. Nigeria has one per every 5,000. UNESCO estimates that there were 95,600 Nigerian students studying internationally in 2017. The Nigerian diaspora is among the best educated and relatively affluent immigrants population in most countries of destinations. It is the best educated, the healthiest, and the most economically active men, women who are likely to leave Nigeria. Well, they're not going to leave Nigeria if they can find work. But when I'm here otherwise, personally. But anyway, according to the World Bank, Nigeria receives over 23 billion American dollars in remittance in 2019. This comprised more than 51% of the national GDP. Nigeria accounts for over a third of all sub-Saharan African remnants between 2010 and 2019. Remnants increased from 19,074 to 23,809 billion in USD, United States dollars. This increase occurs in part because of the greatest engagement of the diaspora from NIDO, Nigerian in diaspora organizations. There has, however, been limited success in harnessing this remnants inflow for development purpose. This has been accompanied by the lack of monitoring of return migration, through which the skills of the returnees could be used for development. Yeah. In 2001, 21 years ago, the IOM started to assist voluntary returns of reintegration programs. To help Nigerians abroad return to the country. Between April of 2017 and May of 2018, the IOM, in collaborations with the Nigerian government, assists more than 8,000 stranded Nigerian migrants returning home. Number 4, forced migration, internally displaced asylum seekers and refugees. We're winding down, people. We're winding down. According to the UNDESA, there were 9,019 refugees and asylum seeking in Nigeria in 2010, 12 years ago, which roughly is 1,781 in 2015, and 10,550 or 35 in 2018. According to the IOM, the low number of in 2015 can possibly be explained by refugees from Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Cameroon returned to their home countries when normalcy was restored. Involuntary migration into Nigeria is caused by factors such as environmental degradation, political conflict, persecutions, and war in other parts of Africa. The main countries of departure in 2014 were the DRC, Mali, Liberia, and Cote d'Ivoire. Boy, they use these French words, these such unique and exotic, vibrant words, if I do say so myself. At the end of 2019, there were 242,326 Nigerian refugees abroad. The three main asylums countries from Nigeria refugees are Nigeria, Cameroon, and Chad. Not, I'm talking about that Chad that most sisters like. They want a Chad, a zaddy, but a Chad nonetheless. The main reason for Nigerians fleeing the country in recent years is the Boko Haram insurgents. Now, let's put a pause right there. And please keep the likes up. People come looking back. I see y'all doing good. Y'all watching, y'all maintaining. Good. Keep the likes up. Why are the warrior class of men of their country running? Like literally running. Like, when shit gets tough, you find them start to take what we call escapisms and try to escape and run from the problems. It's worse than SYSBM, in other words. I'm just saying. I'm just starting to notice that. When wartime happens, these Negroes tuck and run. They tuck their tails and run like the sissies they are. I'm just saying. In Nigeria, internal displacement of population is caused by ethnic and religious conflict, environmental disasters, civil strifes, boundaries, and land disputes, and governmental policies such as construction of dams, commercial plantation, and oil exploration. Nigeria has one of the highest number of internal displacement persons, IDPs, in sub-Saharan Africa between 2003 and there's roughly between 2003 and 2008, 5 years. Roughly 3.2 million people were forced to leave their homes. In 2012, flooded led to that displacement of roughly, looks like 2,157,419 people, while 442,329 had to flee from conflict. In 2014, the number of IDPs increased to 802,148, many from the northeastern regions, according to UNICEF. There were 1,713,771 IDPs. In Nigeria in 2017, at the end of 2018, there were a total of 2,216,000 IDPs in Nigeria. A flood in 2018 caused the displacement of 600,000 Nigerians. The main reason for displacement of people in Nigeria is the emergence of Boko Haram, which I said earlier, a military group that has been carrying out attacks, bombing, shooting since 2014, now going on 8 years ago. And the other one, the fifth one, is human trafficking. Let me see. Wow. Yeah, I gotta go through this. I'm already starting, so I'm looking out. Yeah, it looks like people are still listening, watching. Okay. Victims of human trafficking. In 2012, the National Immigration Service report that there are 1,497 illegal entries points into Nigeria. At the time, the government started to invest large sums of money to secure the borders. Air travel remained the primary mode of transportation utilized by human traffickers. NAPA IP has received support from United Nations offering to drug and crime UODC in its efforts to engage airlines, airports, management authorities, and travel agencies to help detect the prevent human trafficking. The country suffers greatly from human trafficking. Nigeria is a country of destinations, transitions, and origins of children and women who are sold into forced labor and sex work. Girls are victims of domestic servitude, sex trafficking, and prostitution, while boys are forced into begging, drug muling, and becoming child soldiers. Like the toy soldiers, one you can play with, give it direction, that type of stuff. And what's good? Internal trafficking mainly occurs in rural areas, the more bigger areas. Especially in the country's southern regions, victims are recruited for exploitation in commercial sex rings and forced into domestic labors in urban areas. The main cities and victims are trafficking to are Lagos, what they call Abokoto, Adedion, Kano, Kaduna, or Kadian, or Kaduna, Calabar, and Port Harcourt. Traffickers operating baby factories that are often disguised as orphanage, maternity homes, or religious centers, meaning church, I think. In these places, traffickers hold women against their will, rape them, and force them to carry and deliver children. So not only they taking the pussy, but they impregnate and let them carry children. Imagine that. The traffickers then sell the children, often with the intent to exploit them in forced labor and sex trafficking when they are at age. Nigerian traffickers take women and children to other West and Central African countries, including Mali, Senegal, Cote d'Ivoire, and Cabo Verde, as well as the South African, where they are also exploit in forced labor and sex trafficking. According to the NAPTIP, which was established in 2003 and compiles human trafficking statistics in Nigeria, there was a total of 6,572 cases of human trafficking recording between the inception and the end of 2018. During that time, or this time, 13,533 victims of human trafficking CTDT. 91% of victims of Nigerian origins are women. Exploitations in 77,004% sexually in nature. The main countries of exploitation are Russia, Italy, and Morocco. Between 2003 and at the end of 2018, the NAPTIP or NAPTIP reports 233 persons who were convicted of human trafficking, although enforcement of the anti-traffic laws remain weak in many parts of the country, and insignificant resource hamper efforts. Officially have made some efforts to address trafficking and improve the investigation, prosecutions, and law enforcement capabilities in high priorities. Let's put a pause here. And well, before I pause this, let me finish this paragraph. The country currently does not fulfill the minimum standard for limiting human trafficking, though it is making more and more significant efforts to do so. These efforts include training government officials and raising public awareness, collaborating with international organizations and NGOs to establish anti-trafficking task force and Borno exit states, using new technology to enhance the collection of victim testimonies, prosecuting governments, official conflicts, and human trafficking, and drafting memorandums and understanding the improved coordinations between government agencies. Before I move on to the next one, let me tell y'all something personally. They're not going to stop human trafficking. And not only they're not stopping it, they're not making any steps of regulating or getting it really under control. You know why, people? Because it makes money. And not only that, do you know when you traffic somebody, you're able to sell in the not only regular markets, but the black market for extra money? Last time I checked with human beings, they are worth a lot of money, including the thing where Mary said that Each debt that a person is born, they are tied to the national debt of the United States of America, which inclines you get a Social Security card. So human labor and bodies are currency. So you think most people that are engaged in illegal activities like this is going to stop the flow of currency, which is human capital? No. They're always going to tell you they're going to regulate it. They're going to step in to make some change or efforts of fighting this, but there is no real actual evidence of fighting this, because when you look at the bottom line, it makes a whole lot of money to continue this type of criminality. So that's something I just want to add on. We're winding down, guys. We're in section 6, and then we have 7, and we have 8, and that'll be it. Victims of human I'm sorry. National legal frameworks. The Immigration Act of 1963. Now, mind you, the Foreign Aid Act came in 1961. After that, now roughly 59 years later, we have an Immigration Act 2 years later. Ain't that ironic? Is the principality legal instrument for migrators' movements to and from Nigeria. Is define the conditions of entry, residence, and departures for both Nigerian citizens and foreign nationals. There are several gaps in the migration policy of the country between until recent Nigerians has had a laissez-faire attitude about migration. This apparently in the 1998 and 2004 National Policy of Population, in which only a casual reference is made to migration with the help of the IOM, the government wrote a new labor migration policy for the country that was only complete in 2010, 12 years ago. The policy was then approved in October of 2014. Its aim is to promote good governance of laboral migration on development while mitigating its adverse impact. Other acts that deal with migration in Nigeria are the Laboring Acts, which protects the rights of Nigerians and well as foreign labor migrants working in Nigeria, and the Child Right Act, which protects the rights of children by prohibiting child trafficking and child labor. Unfortunately, the government attitude of migration has ultimately have been reactivated, with many of their efforts merely creating awareness about the dangers of irregular migration, and adequate resources have not been channeled to mitigate the factors that drive unlawful and unsafe migrations. The Minister of Foreign Affairs regulates migration movements in and out of the country, while the Federal Ministry of Labor and Productivity regulates labor policies for immigrants and is responsible for creating employment agreement with other countries. In the ministry, there are a series of offices that operate to manage migration, such as Nigeria Immigration Service (NIS), created in 1963, 2 years after the Foreign Aid Act of 61. With the Immigration Act, it registers with the ex parties for neutralization, monitoring borders, and control documents. The National Commission for Refugees, Migrants, and International Displacement Person, NCFRMI, deals with the framework of policy to protect and manage refugees, asylum seekers, and internally displaced persons. The National Population Commission, NPC, and National Bureau of Statistics responsible for collecting information on migration statistics. Nigeria is also an active member of the ECOWAS, a union that enshrines the freedom of movement in the protocols of the 29th of May of 1979. On the free movement of person, the rights of residencies, establishments, this protocol allows all ECOWAS citizens to enter any ECOWAS state without a visa, to reside in an ECOWAS member states for up to 90 days without a visa, and to apply after 90 days for a permanent residence permit. As a result of these developments, there has been an increased tempo in the formulation of national migration and sectoral policies in Africa. Countries to provide an operational framework and coordination mechanism for migration management. However, Nigeria does not yet have a national strategic framework of migration to drive the debate on migration within the outsides of the country. Number 7, main actors. The state. The federal government has worked in collaborations with the ILO and the IOM to develop a national labor migration policy and a national policy of migration. These constitute the key legal vehicles for migration relating activities in Nigeria. The IOM provides support to Nigeria technical work groups, TWG, and migration and development. This organization is made up of ministries, departments, and agencies, non-state actors, social partners, academics, and developed partners working on issues relating to migration, and a chair by the National Commissions of Refugees, Migrants, and International Displacement Persons. The Edo state government creates the Edo State Task Force Against Human Trafficking, which I'm not going to abbreviate, to address issues of irregular migration or irregular migration and human trafficking, which were epidemic in the States. The NCFRMI coordinations varied committees and work groups and standing committees on diaspora matters, SCDMS. The working groups of labor migrations led by the Federal Ministry of Labor of Productivity, and the working group of migration data management led by the National Population Commission, and the working groups of assisting voluntary return of reintegration led by the NCFRM itself, and also stakeholders formed the broad management led by the Nigerian Immigrant Service with the support of the NAPTIP. Ultimately, there needs to be a strengthening of the capacity of Nigerian institutions and actors in order to improve the ownership of the reduced reliance of external supports. I'm not sure what external supports they mean. I'm not sure they're talking about the West, but you're going to get support anyway because you take on their debt, you take on their money, you take on any aid. So you're always going to get some support unless you want to be a solely sovereign country, which they have not proved yet. Very little African countries have proven that yet. And I say very little because Africa has 54 countries, 54, and I think roughly almost half are controlled by the West, or more than half. The Catholic Church, see that? Anytime you have a Catholic Church in your black nation, you are conquered, you're dominated, because you're dominated by the religion. Yes, it's true. Formally established in 2010, the Catholic Caritas Foundation of Nigeria is the official relief and development arms of the Catholic Bishop Conference of Nigeria. Its priorities areas include emergencies response and humanitarianism service, reaching internally displaced persons and refugees, health and HIV/AIDS interventions, agriculture and livelihood support to vulnerable households, good governance programs, institutional capacities, strength of human trafficking, and forced migration, service and return windows, unemployment youth, and others to hard to reach communities across Nigeria and overseas. Cartas is part of the COTNET network, Christian organization against trafficking in human beings. They work across boards to raise awareness about trafficking and assisting victims. Cartas, along with other COTNET organizations, have attempted to fight the root cause of trafficking, such as poverty and lack of opportunity, while pressing for laws to protect victims, punishing perpetrators, and securing decent working conditions. Hold on. Oh. After being forced to leave in 1967 by the country's military ruler, Catholic Relief Service returned to Nigeria in 2000 and has been implementing a various of programs addressing migration, refugees, and international displaced persons since then. Focus on strengthening the health system, improving the agriculture sector with projects aiming in developing an economic, sustainable, and integrating seed systems, provide emergency response and recovering programs, and building reliance among the communities and households in northern East Nigeria. This CRC works in 13 states, reaching 77 million people. Currently, CRS, with its training and equipment communities, mobilizers, is carrying out hygiene, promoting, and C19 awareness campaigns to diminish the spread of the what they call virus, as well as chlorella, what they call particularly in overcrowding camps, lacking hygiene infrastructure. They alleviate disease suffering. CRS offering water, sanitation, hygiene service, and education to encourage behavioral change while giving the possibility to receive essential household and hygiene products such as buckets and soap from the local market. Among the main actors proactively working with migrants and refugees is JRS Nigeria, a company service and advocate for displaced people in the country. Several initiatives have been developed, especially in the northeastern parts of the country, while programs such as Farmers Field Business Schools programs aim to train and equip internally displaced women so that they can be protagonists of their own success, as well as accelerate learning programs, LP, addressing the lack of access to educational and helping displaced children integrating into the mainstream school system. Though CEASE has been respond to the need of the many refugees finding themselves in situations of vulnerability due to the ongoing brutal conflict that started in 2010. The Catholic artisans of Calabar and Dosis Makurudi, I think that's how they pronounce it, for example, are trying to attend the need of Cameroonians, refugees from the Anglo-Leposine regions have been forced to move due to the ongoing wars along the borders regions between Cameroon and Nigeria. Together, the Catholic Cartisan Foundation, Nigeria Justice Development, Peace Commissions, and Foundations of Justice, Development, and Peace. These docents are trying to prove humanitarianism assists, including livelihood assistance to all refugees arriving in the centuries. Furthermore, the deceased and Madiara, who is bishop, leads the migration of nomads commission of the Catholic Bishop Conference of Nigeria, has built a chapel in the Managua camps in Cameroon to serve the assistant Nigerian displacement persons. Daily movement to Cameroon North regions due to the Boko Haram attacks, and the diocese also failed in the Lake Chad regions where, due to climate crisis, shrinking in Lake Chad has caused millions of migrants to move. The local church, together with the government, includes 3 plants projects and awareness campaigns for the care of environments, although facing important insecurity and financial challenges. To help international displacement, people in Nigeria and what's good, Alonso, and the community of Sante Engbo has also been providing emergency and humanitarian assistance to the many families living in IDP camps and in what they call Kukushirago and Abiajo since 2017. In addition to the essence, meaning sustains of the community currently provide protection, masks, and all that other stuff. I'm gonna go down. The Conrad and Hilton Foundation Catholic Sisters Initiative in Nigeria works to bring awareness of trafficking, especially in conditions of country vulnerable to young women, sexual slavery, domestic and abroad. Sisters provide rehabilitations, housing, spiritual assistance, counseling victims of human trafficking, as well as skill development, and to help them secure alternative forms of employment. International organizations. The IOM provides support to Nigerian governments to better manage migration. It has helped the government to develop strategies to engage with the Nigerian diaspora abroad and has also supported the government in the drafting of the national migration policy since 2002, 20 years ago. Based on cooperation agreements of the IOM, has been supporting efforts of the Nigerian government to manage migration through capacity building advisors, service, and technical assistance in migration matters, including migration, health, and information assist, monetary returns, and country trafficking. Strong collaborations have been established with the national migration stakeholders to enhance board management, fight trafficking, human, and reduce regular and mainstream migration. The UNHCR collaborations with the government provide support issues related to refugees, asylum seekers, and IDPs. Other organizations, there are a long list of NGOs that support the NAPTIP and human trafficking eradication efforts in Nigeria. And I said the Girls Power Initiative, Young Girls Foundation, Gender Care Initiative, etc. Civil societies, organizations, and critical partners of combatants issues and migration management in Nigeria. Several civil societies organizations have worked in collaboration with governments agencies to issue relating to migration, human trafficking, as well as assisting voluntary return to reintegrations. And the last and not least, other issues. Number 8. Since 2009, Boko Haram fighters have killed tens and thousands of Nigerians and hundreds of attackers and disrupt trade and farming in the northeast, causing a risk of famine and displacement millions of people. The groups violently oppose any political or social activities associated with Western societies, including voting, attending secular schools, and wearing Western dress. Although Nigeria military has regained control in parts of the country, Northeast civilians in Nigeria, Cameroon, Chad, and Nigeria continue to be affected by the grave violation of human rights, widespread sexual violence, forced recruitments, and suicide bombing. The date of late Chad-based regions have been grappling with the displacement of the over 3.4 million people, including over 2.7 million IDPs in northeastern Nigeria. The challenges of protection these displaced members have been compounded by the deterioration security situations as well as social economic fragility of the region. Then that's it for the article. Now, that was long. And let me check my end. Let's check in how long that was. Oh, right on cue. So For the oh, and another thing, I forgot to say this. I apologize. That was one article, which it will be in the description. There's two other articles that's short. I'll leave that in the description for y'all to look at. But the whole premise and importance is to really go into, why, if these people are doing such better, are they doing because, they came with nothing? No, I don't think so. The government is involved heavily. They're giving money to people that they seem that will benefit this country, and they'll bring only a few blacks, and I'm talking about the darker blacks or the ones that look mixed or over here, to conflate the numbers of Americans and to show that they are the ones that is Americans and that are what they consider better than foundation Americans. Last time I checked. But the little background story of the refugees and foreigners. And that's only the Nigerian side of things. And there's 53 more countries to go. But we only deal with this one because this is the one that I found with the assistance of other friends that sent to me. Because let's be honest, I mean, no one does better than regular Americans, personally. So I'm not sure why we still harp on that these foreigners do better than us. I don't understand that, personally.
3.
Yeah, I don't understand it at all. But like I said, I just leave the background story for y'all to get a more understanding. There's more information. But like I said, if you're a foreign black, you probably will know this better, and you won't keep it real honest with your American friends, personally. I don't think so. You won't either. No one comes here for the free lunch or free ride. What's good? What's good, Mary?
What's going on?
What's good? I know you're on the road. I'm calling you now. I'm live on the air. I'm not sure if you want to jump on this, but it was very long. The whole article, man. I know you probably got a chance to listen to some of it. But what's your really take, Mary, about there's delusion of a lot of these men in regards saying the foreign blacks do better than us to the point where they just come here with nothing and they exceeding to more than the average American that's been here for centuries.
Yeah, well, there's it's a form of self-hatred, and now don't get me wrong, some of it is cultural because, like, you got to realize a lot of those people, they come from, most of the world live off less than $1 a day.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? So when people come here, they see opportunity, but because we're here all the time, we have a more intimate understanding and view of white supremacy and the ills of this society. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of these guys, man, they just, they have this self-hatred. They see everybody else's community, practices, culture, customs are better than their own. This is a new type of self-hatred. Earlier I was watching a documentary, and I wanted to do a breakdown on it. It's called The Black Bourgeoisie, and there's a lot of profound stuff in there, and you'll see how a lot of these guys sound just like that old bourgeoisie class who look down on low class blacks. You know what I'm saying? So the whole thing with Ray, Starkeisha, and you know what I'm saying? So I wanted to do a breakdown on that, but that's a lot of it has a lot to do with that. And then also too, even away, and that's what I was talking about when I was talking about the intra-group cultural conflicts, this type of xenophobia that we have. And I did a show about this a long time ago called "There Are Two Black Americans."
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? And so, like the type of stuff you hear Obsidian say, calling them park apes and all this old bullshit, and Obsidian is about white supremacy and racism, but he's doing that, he's otherizing them because he sees these men as getting the sex. Like you have a lot of that going on, and then the other part of it too is they see the government funding it. So they otherize these low class, I hate to sound elitist, but these low class ghettoized blacks, man. And so when you have these like those immigrants and stuff, that's how they're looking at it.
Okay.
You know, but the thing about it is, no matter what status you attain, no matter what you accomplish, no matter your possessions, no matter anything, they don't differentiate.
Oh
They
yeah.
might not say it to your face. You know what I mean? They might smile and grin, but beneath it all, you're still a nigga.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was just watching that documentary, man. It's a very powerful documentary. Very powerful, man. The Black Bourgeoisie, and the way I found it, I was just doing research on E. Franklin Frazier and the Black Bourgeoisie. Because I read that book. I read it like 4 years ago, you know, when I was doing all my research.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, let me see if I can find any analysis on it that can give me further insight. So I just looked it up on YouTube, and that documentary came up. And like I said, it's a profound documentary, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Gives a lot of insight into a lot of the class dynamics that went into the civil rights movement, stuff like that. And see what's happened is, you know, that stuff is kind of like reformed and recrystallized, you know, culturally because of social media.
Mm-hmm.
Social media has a lot to do with it, man. And I was going to do another breakdown on it about how the manosphere sound like. They sound like those that Black bourgeoisie in the 60s and 70s, who everything going on in the country with Black people was just basically shutting it down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you know, like how they talk about Cookie and Ray and all that old dumb shit they be talking.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really what has them blaming these women. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's really what has them blaming these women, man.
Mm.
It's all about sex. It's all about the sexual access. You know, and I was thinking about, like, you know how they talk about, you know, 54% of Black men don't have kids. You know what I'm thinking about? If you don't have any children, you really don't have any right to be sitting up here talking on community issues that you really have no future vested in.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
okay.
Sit your fucking ass down somewhere and go about your fucking business.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And you know, BGS tagged me in the video.
What video was that?
He said he had a title breaking down the money report. I ain't watching yet.
Oh yeah, I think I saw upload that. I watch it. I get a chance to watch it. Yeah, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. It's called breaking down the money report because Teapot had reached out to me about a debate with conservative. And like I told Teapot, I'm not debating them dudes no more, man. They stupid. I told him
debating who? What insight does Hood Servant offer on YouTube? Let's be honest. Most of what he regurgitates as white talking points, what he watch on TV. He doesn't read no books. Cause when you hear him talk, he sounds fucking stupid. I'm be honest, this is a shot spot, but I'm gonna keep real. What has he read and understand conceptualize besides what he's hearing from other fucking niggas on social media, YouTube?
But you know, I told Teapot, man, I said I'll either debate BGS or one of his PhDs. I'm not debating them, man.
No, yeah, no more niggas. These niggas, they're done for. Don't more waste time debating dumb niggas. You see, one thing I respect about you, when you had a conversation with BGS, it's something that is stimulating and you can learn something with a simple back and forth. I can't enough from these niggas that's going back and forth.
Right. I mean, if nothing else, you could tell I had a command of what we were talking about.
Yes.
I understood it even more than BGS.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that stuff, it's not even crystal in mind because I studied John Locke and liberalism and all that stuff 4 years ago. That was 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even, a lot of stuff I forgot. Like even the Partis law, I studied that.
Mm-hmm.
That goes because I was working on a book.
Mm-hmm.
I never finished it. That's my problem. I don't be finishing, but I was working on a book, and that's how I found out about the Partis law and all that other kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But if nothing else, you could tell I had a command of what we were talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, before you continue, y'all guys, if I put y'all can contribute to the channel, whatever it is, it's in the chat room. Support by, I guess, what it called? $ Chaos Rain, 8 Rain and stuff. As y'all like the stream, so support. Throw us in the bucket.
The other day somebody asked why we don't have super chat. I think that was what the world asked that. She said why we don't have the super chat.
I mean, we're not gonna go into that right now. We'll move on with the conversation.
Yeah. I'm just saying that's the energy for the want to help us monetize out there. You know what I'm saying? Because I think the only thing we got to really clean up is just, you know, the panel discussions and getting people to shut the fuck up when it's not their time to talk, man. Like, you know, because I had a few people inbox me last night, and I'm like, I don't know why everybody want to come over here and take over.
Well, my thing is this, because I'm streaming right now. I don't want to go into details about people hitting you offline. But like you were saying before, continue with the conversation. Okay, you know, at times those things we talk off the air mostly. But personally, my thing is this: that if you're going to be entertaining any debate from any Negroes or wherever, they better have their qualifications very unpacked, like they know something, they're well read to the material. If you ask one of them, not one time they reference a book, and I understand why most niggas say they want to regurgitate, but you have to read something. You get me? You can't sit back and listen to what other people say and you take their own knowledge, what they presume understand as yours. You're lazy. That's laziness. I will refuse to do some shit like that. I will make a conscious effort to, as best possible, not even go that route. You get me? So when you have conversations with people that's older, which is a lot of old people on here, and when they open their mouths and they tell you reference this and show this, or they talk about a book, this, that, and it shows to me that you put the effort and time to not only read the material, but you have comprehended well enough. You get me? Like how you read and comprehend some of the material, even the books that they don't even reference. And I said, why are you hiding certain information? Because I know y'all guys read this stuff, but you bring up this information. What are you hiding? Are you trying to keep the narrative going? This illusion? This victimhood going? I question it. You get me? We should have a clear understanding. You know? We can't leave the bird. Go ahead. Yeah.
Well, nah, because, you know, it's fine for them to be victims of black women, but it's not fine for us to talk about how they're victims of white men. They don't want to talk about that. You see what I'm saying? That's victimhood.
Yeah.
But when they talk about the gynocracy, that's not. That's red people. Man, shut up, man. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I agree. But
yeah, they're full of crap, man.
Yeah. And like I said, y'all guys, if y'all guys watching, y'all could jump in if y'all want to come in this panel if y'all want. I know I read a whole lengthy piece, and y'all might have to go for the playback to get more understanding. And I'll leave the link to the article itself and the links to other articles.
And that's the thing, and that's why I'm gonna tell them, if you don't have any genetic equity in the fight, then shut the fuck up. You ain't got no kids. Then you really don't. People shouldn't be listening to what the hell you have to say anyway. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Really, a lot of them only thinking about themselves. Mm-hmm. The coochie they didn't get, or they wanted, or still want. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But they're not thinking about what's going to be in the best interest of this future generation, man. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They're not, because they can't explain in one iota how anything that they're doing or talking about now is going to improve the quality of life or the quality of black men and black women in their relationships 100 years from now. But see, they're not thinking that far ahead, because this is how the niggas think. This is how the niggas think. Very short-sighted. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Very short-sighted. Very short-sighted. That's what I said, man. It's time for that old generation to sit their ass down somewhere, man. Y'all had y'all time. You know? Yeah. You know, wasted your time. Like I told you, there was 2 advisory councils during the Reagan administration. Instead of them working together to get something for us, because they sitting there jockeying in position, and the Reagan administration played both ends against the middle, and none of us got shit. And both of those councils was composed of black men and black women, the BDS online telling them it's black women. That's what I got a problem with. And see, like, even that I studied 4 years ago. That's why I can't remember the details, but I'm gonna go back and find it. But yeah, it was 2 advisory councils, economic advisory councils. Mm-hmm. And they had the Reagan administration played both ends against the middle, and none of us, we ain't get nothing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, and honestly, we couldn't get anything, but the way how we think and move, it seemed like we don't want nothing because we got what we want. We're comfortable. You get me? Yeah. Well, see, it was the whole thing of them or they were jockeying for power and for position, and then and those at economic advisory councils, they were supposed to be representing the interests and the needs of black people. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm saying what I'm saying about it.
Mm-hmm.
But BGS is just, as far as I'm concerned, his narrative is ahistorical. It's an ahistorical narrative because he leaves out a lot of stuff. Like they'll never talk about Vietnam, they'll never talk about the war on drugs, they'll never talk about the prison industrial complex. They'll never talk about the conservative, neoconservative movement, which was nothing but a backlash to that era and that time period. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They'll never talk about any of that.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them don't.
Mm-hmm.
So, very, very biased in their analysis.
Mm-hmm.
You see? So that's what I tell them. Call your scholars. Let's have the debate. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I had thought, because they overturned this thing, that next, what people are not paying attention, what they could also look at, if they're not doing it already, since they're trying to sustain what we call white life. And there was a video talking about when one woman was standing in front of Pope where Trump was right there next to her, so we could save more white babies and stuff, right? Yeah. That they might now start looking and say we might have to start roll back miscegenation laws. I'm saying, listen, I might have to do an upload or stream on that. Say, what happens in the world if you niggas can't have sex with non-black women? What now? What you gonna do?
Like a lot of stupid stuff. What you're saying, you claim about, you was better off under this. Who was better off under that? All right. You know what I'm saying? If they wanted to do any of that right now, there's really nothing stopping them.
Mm-hmm.
This is all, everything has become more refined, man. But nothing has changed.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing has fundamentally changed with the power dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
Now the next scholar I'm gonna be reaching out to is Paul C. Grandison. I'm gonna email him.
Mm-hmm.
See if I can get him to come on and have a discussion about a lot of the stuff that we're seeing in the society. A lot of people not breaking this stuff down, man. Even Tariq doesn't break it down. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of half truths too.
Yeah. All right.
That's why I have to take a break from listening to him. Because some of the shit he's saying, it's ahistorical. Like I said, ahistorical.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I'm working. I don't want to hold your show up, K.
All right. Well, I'll hit you up later. All right.
Hit me up later.
All right, cool. Yeah, that's Mary Brown. Yes. Oh, yes. Matter of fact, another person I could find, because I do this constantly. I might just remove that link because. All right. Let me see if I can get the farmer on here. I like doing this. This is fun. Person. It's the last person. It's the last person. Peace. What's good, Mr. Miller? How's everything, man? You know how it is. I'm here live stream right now. I was doing a rundown of the Delusion of Men. One question I want to ask you, besides the subject matter at hand, because I covered Nigeria and why certain Africans come over here either through a lottery or with the assistance of foreign aid to get, like, they came with nothing, but they came with something actually. That in your opinion, Terrence, have you met and talked to any African person here in America? I know you traveled to Egypt, but have you ever talked to anybody that you?
You figure with Facebook, man, you international. Talk to people from Australia, Africa, India.
Okay. Because you know,
I talked to them. They've been trying to get me to come over there. Actually, brother came back here a couple of days ago, an Israelite, and I'm gonna be working with them, consulting agriculture products. And the guy we was over the guy talking about the options of either leasing or buying land.
Mm-hmm.
But see, all them foods that he was suggesting for the market, I don't grow that stuff. I wasn't gonna say that to him on the phone, but
Okay.
I'm not gonna grow no food over there. I grow that for myself. What I
Okay.
grow over there is commodities.
Something that people could use.
Yes, I mean, food is used because people eat it, but it just I'm not growing no hybrid food, you know. So I'm gonna keep it strictly to the commodities because I was telling the brother, from my understanding, that Ghana imports $18 million worth of toilet paper. I'd rather be producing the raw material or something like that rather than growing some maize and some sorghum and some cassava. I don't get that shit. I ain't gonna grow it either. I mean, that's because it's money. I ain't like it. I don't care because you can make money. You can make money doing other things even more. So hey.
Okay. My question, Terrence, because I know people here listening, and that from your knowledge, who manufacture food agriculturally across the world? Is this men or women today, from your understanding?
But I mean, around the world, in the world, it's like that's a puzzle right there. But I mean, I can tell you that as time goes on, more and more women are holding down agriculture in Africa.
Okay. Because you know, one dude had a problem when my good friend Mary asked him this, and he said no. He said men transport the food, so women don't have no control of or do anything like that. It's like,
well, no, but see, that's a warped concept because you want your food to stay local. That's the biggest argument with food today is that the shit travels 1,800 miles, and that's why they urge people to grow locally because it travels so much. By the time you get it, the shit is over a week old.
Oh, I did not know that. Okay. Did not know that.
Yeah. I mean, that's why, you know, and then another thing, not only is that, but when you grow local, people can get it within hours from when it was picked. You can't get no better than that.
I see. Okay. Well, you know, I think there are local farmers now. I think up in the East Coast, there are some that start to grow local. Well, you know, because the weather is warm now, they're starting to grow simple foods locally. Nor I question what seeds they use, but they are growing food locally. You know, that in every state where you reside, depending on the seasons, you should be able to grow just the simple food that you should be consuming. You should not be getting majority of 80 or more % of your food domestically outside your borders in states. You know, it doesn't make sense. Especially a lot of people don't know if you shop in the supermarkets or whatever, they'll import some things from Mexico, maybe some parts of Caribbean islands mostly, but you know, that's where it stops. You know, but they're not gonna import things like, unless it's something that's actual food, not like processed food like candy, bread, or anything. So like from other parts like Europe and stuff, you're not really eating food personally. You know? You eat something else. Yeah. Oh, you know, one thing I want to ask your take on Roe v. versus Wade. And I don't know if we talked about this offline. Roe v. versus Wade. What's your take on it? Roe v. versus Wade. Now they overturn Roe v. versus Wade, since they overturned abortion laws, where most states now right now only 13 right now, and it probably will start growing.
I mean, we need to just use intellect and realize that abortion ain't in the hands of man. I mean, abortion, the concept of abortion didn't start with a clinic. It started with the motherfucking herbs.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I got herbs I gave some sisters on a few occasions, and it resolved that. So, I mean, that's another thing. It's like Malcolm said. What did Malcolm say? I mean, we still in backwood days. Malcolm talked about having to ask the white man permission to do shit. Did Malcolm talk about that? Here we are again. Why we have to do that? I mean, it's like people don't open their minds up to realize that abortion don't start nor stop in the clinic.
Okay. But you know, I always hear stories people used to take like hangers or do some other serious acts to
No, we didn't take them. That's what they did during slavery. When the white master did that to women, that's what that was.
Oh, you serious?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But they only did that when they found out that the baby was going to be, that it was a white woman impregnated by a guy, just like in Mandingo.
So they would do that to their own, and they would take hangers or other means to abort the baby.
Yeah.
Oh. Hey, you know, a lot of these dudes don't talk about it. They talk about women back then. They were really talking about non-black women. Because black women had other means besides, and don't get me wrong, some black women probably did that too, but we don't hear much about. But we always hear is usually when people talk about abortions back in the old day, they think all women took hangers, push up in them, and pull out the baby and all this sick stuff, you know, damaging their womb and stuff, you know. And you know, the rumor is with that is if you have more than 2 abortions, they recommend that so you can't have no more because now you're not gonna be able to hold the baby. And for some reason, they stopped telling a lot of women in a lot of states for a good.
See, because they use the suction process, and see, what they mean. What happens is when you get pregnant, there's an attachment has to take place with the endometrium tissue connected to the fetus, because that's what feeds it. The endometrium carries the blood. So if you don't have abortions, they use the suction process, and every time they use the suction, it pulls off some of your endometrium tissue. So now your ability to
hold
attach and hold has been significantly decreased each abortion you get. But that don't happen with using the herbs.
Okay. I see. Let me ask you a question. Since you're herbist, what herbs are? Matter of fact, no, we ain't gonna give that away. Kind of want these ladies get in there, find alternate ways, because let me tell you something. Me personally, I says, and I'll say this again, for all the women that are crying and acting emotions, I'm convinced most of y'all chicks are not good with y'all wombs. Regardless of me, I am convinced a good majority of the females that were whining, crying about it are not good with womb control and how to deal with their wombs properly. Personally.
What you mean?
Like if they want to have the option to abort the baby, if the dude they pick or wherever the dude doesn't want it, or wherever case where they want to get rid of it fast. You know what I'm saying? Paid it what, $500-$800 and how much it costs. Go in there and get the vacuum cleaner, suck it out, and keep pushing. You know? But yeah.
Well, I mean, you got, as the years went on, you got some women now that are and aware of the alternative. But the mainstream people, the ones bickering on social media, most of them don't know.
Okay. Well, they don't really know, man, because like I said, this struck down overturning was really to preserve any white life left, move forward in this 21st century. I mean, you see, one thing we gotta be clear, and we gotta understand, Terrence, that regardless if it was still in existence or is still in play or not, the population still grew since 1970 up to 2020. It did not take a dip. It did not decline since you could abort. So when they look at it now and look at the numbers now and say it didn't make no sense, So now one thing it's gonna make either women be a little bit smarter, and mind you, they're gonna make the men pay more heavy penalty now that this thing is what they call it is overturned. They're gonna apply more pressure on the dudes. You get me? In regards to child support, aid, what?
In what way?
Well, there's a law now in Florida where after 15 weeks, the man is immediately supposed to start paying child support.
He should start.
No, he will be paying child support after 15 weeks.
15 weeks.
Yes. Yes.
but I don't see that's kind of complicated because I know I can tell you from experience that when women are pregnant, they kind of go here and there with delusion. So
Okay.
you never know whether they're gonna stay together or not. So that child support shit is only for if they separate. But at that time, the verdict ain't been handed down whether they stand together or separated. So that shit don't even make sense to me.
It don't make no sense to me. And my good friend Mr. Gray is gonna talk about what is it, Wednesday or this week? He's gonna talk about in detail about it because that's something that is proposed. I'm not sure if it's enacted. I think it's enacted because the minute this was going to overturn, Florida made some arrangements and put some things in place. But here's a problem thing with that, Terrence. Here's the problem. How are you gonna put somebody on child support and he has not really went and gone a DNA test to check if the child's his?
Depending on the relationship, I mean, if they know they're exclusive with each other, then it's kind of pretty obvious.
That's the difference. If they're exclusive, listen, Terrence. A lot of women are fucking and behind a lot of dudes' backs, and sometimes you don't know. You get me? Because when they talk about cheating, infidelity, or how people move, women are almost just up there neck and neck with a lot of dudes that they said in regards to relationship or any hookup that women are also in fault to also infidelity as well. So she could be around moving very loosely with her vaginal and be going around doing that person, you know. And here's the funny thing: there was always speculation that a lot of men should be fighting for fraternity tests anyway, because now to find out, even what we're hearing now, there's certain scenarios that some dude raised certain kids and they find out like what, like 10, 15 years later, they found the kid's not his, but he has to still fit the bill. I'm saying, you know, it happens. This what happens. So if they're gonna put an act where you guys start paying child support after 15 weeks, there should be a fraternity test across the board as well to say the minute you're pregnant.
Oh, you had to. That's a given. You just ain't nobody. You just can't. Okay, you pay child support. No, we gonna do some verification here.
Exactly. Yeah. But you know, here's the funny thing: with a lot of women, they don't want. This is what one guy told me. The other YouTuber, he said a lot of men are. They're afraid to ask their wife or baby mom or whoever that I need a fraternity test to check if this is my baby, because they said if they ask her, she's going to try to look differently at him and try to, and it's going to really harm the so-called relationship where she's going to have no trust. Hell, she might even take the child for all we know if it's his and be spiteful. You get me? But I'm thinking, why would you act like that? A man should always know, because we never had DNA tests back then. We have it now. So what is you hiding? You get me? If you know it's and he wants to be sure it's his baby, he should have the right. So he's gonna be paying for it, right? Well, you see, women don't feel that. They feel that you should not. No, you should pay for it regardless because I'm with you. And to me, that's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Especially bullshit. You know. Wait, somebody wrote some in the chat room. Let me read. I see our guys chatting now in the chat. The best way to find out why the women are protesting is to interview some women protest. The womb control theory sounds very good. You know, it'd be nice if I could find one, but you know the drill. If you know anyone that's listened to this channel, this stream, or in the chat room, tell me hit Chaos Rain. Just ask for my email. You know, just leave a message in the comment section. I'll read it and I'll put the email for those that want to contact me. I'll bring one that's up. That's, you know, in regards to the womb control. But back to the subject at hand. Yeah, men should know. Person, he should know. You know, since they're gonna start putting laws in place now that they can't go around and terminate the baby in certain states. I think 13 states will not allow no abortion. And a lot of women, again, that means they had to say they got to travel across state borders to go terminate a baby. And I'm saying if you gotta go out your way to do that, then I would say you need to move to those states that still will allow you and grant you the right to abort the baby. And trust me, a lot of states now are making moves now to make it harder and harder. I hear rumor now. Someone said they want to cut back on the contraceptives, like the pills, Plan Bs, all that stupid shit. This is rumor. Not saying it's factual. Now with the condoms, that's a little questionable. But like I said, they're gonna make it hard for a lot of people that is very loose with their bodies, that's gonna be doing things like that. That you gonna have to think twice. Now, will select this? No, because there's no sure, clear-cut answer if you're gonna engage in sexual activities. Sex is always a procreation act, ladies and gentlemen. I gotta stress this constantly. Have to, because y'all don't get it. Once you play with sex, you put yourself at risk. End of story. You know. And one last question to ask you, Terrence. Then I'm probably gonna wind this down. Now, how fast do you think, from your perspective, since they say America's gonna be 10 and be browner or whatever you want to call it in the next 20-something years, right? Or 31 years, my fault. That they might start pushing back the clock of time of miscegenation laws, like they did Roe v. Wade, and overturn miscegenation. How fast do you think they're gonna start step in? These people that's in high office in Supreme Courts. That's my question.
Can't think about that
one. I tell you, it's like this, Terrence. Once these how can I say it? Once they start looking to that, I guarantee you, I'm gonna see a lot of male content creators, particularly black mostly, are gonna do content saying this is gonna suck. We need to do something. We need to start stepping in Capitol Hill. We can't allow them to start roll back miscegenation laws. I don't want to date. I don't want to marry. I don't want to be only selecting this black beep. You know what I'm saying? I need me, my Becky, Maricel, Ling Ling. I need to be able to engage in sexual acts with them. You know, I want relationships. You know, that's what they want. They don't want to sit there and say, I don't want to have the option where I have to only deal with this black woman. I want to deal with other groups of women. She don't give me what I want. I go find another woman, most like a non-black woman. Imagine, fellas, and they could look into that now, fellas, because anything they create, they could take back. It's that simple. Because they run society, they rule. Yeah. Anyway, and any last questions, Terrence? I'm gonna have to hang up for a little bit and call you a little later. Yeah. Nothing? Okay. Oh, and one thing, since I'm gonna have you on the phone, if people are asking when they're going to have the book out, the actual book, physical book, for those in the chat room.
Actually, how long it take them to ship it?
I mean, no, when it was already not shipping.
How long it take them to print it, and how long it take UPS to get it here?
Okay. All right. Cool. Okay.
I had to contact them to find out, you know, what stage they at.
Okay. Will you take a picture on your IG of the physical book in your hand, holding it? Awesome.
Will I do what?
Will you take a picture of it on IG, the book, the physical book? Take a picture of the book?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I already got a picture. That's just the cover. Okay. I'm not going to see the. I'm not going to have the physical book to take a picture of until it gets here. But for now, I can.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When it gets here, will you have a picture on your IG page of the physical?
No, I know. I got the picture. I got a picture of the front cover, but that's all you're going to see.
Okay. All right. So
when I take a picture of the book, that's all you're going to see is the front cover.
Okay. Oh, you're right. Cause I thought you were gonna take the flipping it, but you're right. You already got the picture. Okay. All right. Cool. All right, Terrence. Thank you. I'll hit you up later. All right, bro.
Okay.
All right. Take care. All right, guys. That's it. No one else has any questions. No one's coming up. Yeah. I hope this was informative. This was helpful, personally. There were a lot of information that was said in the first hour, or roughly close to an hour and 30 minutes. I would have advised look at it, hear it for yourself, or read the article itself. Anywho, the decision is yours. Other than that, I thank everybody for listening to today's stream. Also, please follow me at Twitter at ChaosReign7. Oh, and another side note, be on the lookout for some uploads here on the Chaos Reign channel. Make sure your notifications on high alert, high bells. That's all I'm gonna say. Just watch. You'll see. You'll see. Also, follow me on Facebook. On the book, Eric Rain on Facebook. And now you can add me on Discord. I go by name Kes. No, actually, actually, Discord is on the About section. So, join Discord. Be one of the few chaos or the chaotics to bring the order in which the world we live in today. Join the Discord service and post and follow me on Discord. Links are in the About section. And that is it. But like always, you know what it is. Let it get us. Rain.